Ambuvets Consult Nigeria Limited is a veterinary and livestock services enterprise founded in 2012 to solve the problem of access to quality animal health products and services, especially in remote, hard-to-reach communities of Nigeria.
Pest de petit ruminant, or PPR, is a highly fatal and contagious disease of sheep and goats. In the last 15 years, PPR has spread to more than 70 countries. It now threatens over 80% of the world's sheep and goats population. In Nigeria, it is responsible for a loss of 65 billion naira annually. Eradicating PPR could improve the lives of millions, especially in rural families who rely on sheep and goats production as a source of income and food. Over 70% of Nigerian poultry is reared as free range in rural households. However, Newcastle disease, an acute highly infectious disease of poultry that can cause up to 100% mortality in affected flock, continues to threaten the potentials of this subsector, causing economic losses because of high level of mortality, decreased production, and trading embargo.
If a farmer experiences PPR in his or her flock, he's likely going to lose almost of all of the stock. And this disease is so prevalent, it's everywhere in Nigeria, it's everywhere in Kaduna State. PPR is one disease that, if properly controlled or eradicated, has the potential to boost the income and livelihood of farmers across the country, in fact, across the whole region of Africa.
One of the biggest threats to livestock is diseases, animal diseases. And Newcastle disease is known to constitute like maybe 60 to 70% of the overall burden on poultry.
Nama kaman war haka sanyin na iya zo muna fama da ciwon kaji suna mutuwa, kuma da damina awaki su kuma suna zawo suna rashin lafiya, to shi muke damu.
In Nigeria, rural communities actually own the largest bulk of the livestock that we produce. So by implication, the effect of PPR and Newcastle disease are more felt by people, the rural poor people, in places where there are no access to vaccination or other veterinary services.
For us veterinarians, because in the local government you find one veterinarian only, it is not in our scheme of work to work out a plan to protect them against diseases like Newcastle, or to go out of our way to take care of small ruminants for diseases such as PPR. The perception for the veterinarian over time has been vaccination of small ruminants cattle for smallholders is a routine exercise carried out by government. Thereafter, when you come to the clinic or when you are working and a farmer comes to you, you just treat for whatever it is there. You don't ask him whether he has vaccinated or not. Yes, because the vaccine is not regularly available.
We realize that even though government have some of these policies around disease control, and vaccination is a globally accepted approach to controlling disease, however, we have not been able to translate this policy into implementation because of some of the obvious reasons like government funding, priorities, and the rest of it.
Interestingly, Ambuvets Consults have saddled the mission to support the Kaduna State government in developing a for-fee vaccination program for the PPR and NCD control.
So we're particularly keen about these diseases, again because there's a gender, aspect of it. 90% of people owning small ruminants, that's sheep and goats and chickens, are women. So by implication, the effect of the disease is even more devastating on the part of women.
So it became apparent that we had to find a solution to the issue of controlling this disease within the rural livestock sector. And part of what we found out was that there had to be some control strategy that helps with, one, making available the vaccines, making available the service delivery agents, and creating the awareness around the fact that there is a solution to this disease.
We also saw a huge gap across the state in terms of basic animal health care delivery. So it was during our interaction with farmers across the 23 local government areas of Kaduna State that we began to find out that, look, these two diseases are like the main reason why rural farmers remain poor. And we feel that we can create a sustainable approach to this problem, different from what used to be the status quo. And if we eventually do that, we know that we'll be able to eradicate the disease sustainably, and then we have our farmers doing better in terms of productivity.
As PropCom, through our normal market-based approach, we saw an opportunity for the private sector to play a role in driving vaccination as a norm in states. That's why we went into partnership with Ambuvets. Ambuvets is one of the more entrepreneurial businesses you will find in the space. They were interested, their business objective was aligned with what we are doing. They had the interest to offer ambulatory services, meaning going into the communities.
Kaduna, a destination state for many local and international investments, and one of the most rapidly growing states in the country. To foster economic sustainability, the state government drives, promotes, facilitates, and coordinates investments through private-public partnerships, privatization, and commercialization.
Kaduna State government is always improving. We are trailblazers. So we have recognized that fact. I think that's why in the first place we entered into these partnerships, not just with Ambuvets, like I said, with other private sector players, because government cannot do it alone. And our goal is always to have a sustainable plan. When we live here, we expect that the system would run itself and successfully too. So certainly when you see control of diseases, improvement in livelihoods of our citizens, and people even recognizing that they need to have a job to do or something meaningful to engage in economic activity, we see that they will have a brighter future, not just for the livestock subsector, but for the agricultural sector as a whole. And that's why we even made an economic activity, not a social service in Kaduna State.
Our ability to control PPR in the state would actually improve, would prevent losses and improve on production of this. And even the issue of international trade. We have PPR-free livestock. It means we can do business with foreign partners. So our livestock can be exported to foreign countries, which would mean generating more income as IGR either to the state or the nation. So if we're able by 2030, which is the global mandate, and we don't want Nigeria to lag behind, so Kaduna State is taking the lead by actually partnering with Ambuvets that they seem to have the skills, the expertise, and I think the coverage to help us to achieve that. So in terms of sustainability, the concept that Ambuvets brought that has to be is it fee for service or cost recovery is a very good one.
Through a well-coordinated market-driven model for vaccine distribution and delivery, the overall program goal is to improve the contribution of small ruminants and chicken to food security, nutrition, and economic growth in Kaduna State.
This innovation creates a chain whereby this vaccine is made available all the year to the veterinarian and the community animal health worker that works with the veterinarian to deliver this vaccine to the smallholder in his village. What this does is that the man does not have to go kilometers to be able to get somebody that will vaccinate his goat, his sheep, or his chicken. And in the process, the veterinarian earns some money, the community animal health worker earns some money, the farmer derives a benefit. So a value chain with monetary incentive is created, and that is what makes it sustainable.
Community animal health workers are people in their respective communities who are honest, who are known in the communities, or who are interested in livestock production, and who are also entrepreneurial, people who are willing to be self-employed. They went through 3 weeks intensive training, practical and theoretical, in different areas of basic animal healthcare delivery, but focusing largely on vaccination for PPR and Newcastle disease. So after the training, these community animal health workers were certified by Veterinary Council of Nigeria, so they all have license to practice within their respective domains.
But there's a structure on ground that for each community animal health worker that is trained, his license or his certificate of attendance is tied to a private veterinarian in the field, who also reports to the area veterinary officer in the area offices. Then they will now report to the zonal veterinary office, then to my office. So there's a structure on ground that will help us to monitor and to track every of the activities, whether they are getting it right or not, and if there are issues that needs to be strengthened, that from a system of communication, we'll be able to address some of those issues.
With our aligned objectives, we were willing to support whatever direction they wanted to go with the community vaccinators program, which they started a few years ago. And right now it has evolved into not just community vaccinators, they are community animal health workers that are working within Ambuvets to offer ambulatory services. And now Ambuvets, being a commercial supplier of vaccines, is now in partnership with Kaduna State government to be able to establish the system for delivering vaccination as a routine service.
So these vaccines are channeled through the respective community animal health workers. So they go to communities, vaccinate, and get paid. So another very interesting thing about this project is we know that for us to be able to reach out to more farmers and then to make it sustainable, farmers are actually willing to and are able to pay a token to have their animals protected against PPR and Newcastle disease.
So we map out the communities we work with across the 23 LGAs in the state. In each LGA, we selected 3 communities, and in these 3 communities, we selected 3 people from it. And we are able to also have a call-in program, which we received responses from people.
And someone called in from Suba local government complaining about how his animals, and immediately we got in contact with the community animal health workers there. We wanted to know the one that was closest to that community, and he was able to get to that community. And I'm excited to tell you, the man called me back, gave me feedback that the community animal health worker was able to come to that community, vaccinate their animals, and that they were still arranging for many more farmers.
And that gave us a lot of encouragement, to work more, to work harder. This is just like a pilot stage, and I can say we have done very well. We are able to reach out to people. Every day, day in, day out, our outpost officers are receiving calls from community members, that's the farmers.
From my experience in the field, that when you go to a Fulani herd, when he calls you for vaccination, he's not calling you to vaccinate his sheep and goats. He calls you to vaccinate the cattle. So this awareness has actually generated demand. We are receiving calls from all over the state and even outside the state on how they can access this vaccine. So it has really created a lot of awareness.
Since the inception of the PPR and NCD control program, surprisingly, over 10,000 rural households in Kaduna State have been reached with PPR vaccination of small ruminants and Newcastle disease vaccination for rural chickens, reaching a record-breaking level of 51,000 small ruminants and 10,000 chickens vaccinated during 84 community-level vaccination campaigns.
My name is Master Ayuba Gaya, a community animal health worker working in Kurumisara, that is popularly known as Maraba Wolijo, Kachia local government, Kaduna State. I specialize in vaccinating animals. Even though I started this work on 31st August 2020 after the training with Ambuvets Consults company. So since then I have been going from one Fulani place to another, try to vaccinate their sheep and goats and even chickens. So far I have vaccinated sheep and goats 6,500, and I have gone to so many places. In fact, within my axis I have up to 4 wards, and I have covered virtually all of them. I have even crossed to other local government like Kagarko and Jaba local government.
Just like every other livestock preventable vaccination is the issue of cold chain. So many of these farmers are in rural communities. Reaching out to them with vaccine in the right cold chain has been a long problem. So part of our intervention was to address straight on the issue of cold chain. And how did we achieve that? So Ambuvets set up 4 additional offices across the states, in Kafanchan, Zaria, Chukun, and Samunaka region of the state. And so each of these offices was equipped with a solar-powered refrigerator, just to ensure that the vaccines are always in cold chain, in good condition, and they are able to reach the farmers at that level. So we did not just invest in cold chain at the level of the offices. We installed 23 solar-powered refrigerators across the state, 1 per local government, and attached to 1 community animal health worker.
Ambuvets had made everything so easy for us. Honestly, they brought this solar system. They installed it in my shop and they fridge for me. So before, I have been going to Kafanchan to collect vaccine from Dr. Gloria, but I thank God they brought everything in my shop. So I will only wake up in my room and just come to my shop and pick my vaccine and go.
The Kaduna State Ministry of Agriculture has now adopted and endorsed a statewide fee-for-service vaccination strategy for the PPR and Newcastle disease.
I have been involved in this kind of work, and I see that you see a woman that has a flock of 10 chicken, has a tendency to lose almost all when the Harmattan season comes because of Newcastle. But when these birds are vaccinated, they survive, they lay more eggs, she hatches more. So you have what? You have increase in flock size. That means she has more birds to take to the market. She earns more money. She has a sustainable business that can increase every day, giving her more money, providing protein in the meals of her family and her neighbors and the community, thereby enhancing food security and providing growth in our economy.
Strengthened by thoughtful partnerships, the increasing impact of Ambuvets Consults have improved livelihood, especially in rural communities, and export potentials of small ruminants and chicken in Kaduna State.
As you set out to the field, I hope that you can achieve those outcomes.
Apart from providing solar-powered refrigerators to community animal health workers to keep vaccine in cold chains, Ambuvets Consult also supported with motorcycles to ease delivery of vaccines and veterinary services to the last mile. Ambitiously, it has been the optimum goal for Ambuvets to demonstrate that farmers are willing to pay for vaccination services and other veterinary products. The success of this notable endeavor has led to more access to vaccination and veterinary products and services. This will vividly translate into healthier livestock, improved productivity, and more income for farmers, especially women who own the 70% of small livestock and chickens in the state.
Kiwon kaji da nake ina sayarwa in hidimana, ina kuma yankawa, in ni kyauta zan yi da su. To da dai kamin a fara rigakafi, ni kowane shekara ban taɓa yin shekara da awaki na ba su mutu ba. Za su haihu ba ƴaƴa, za su zo su haifi ƴaƴan su mutu su riƙa yin zawo ko suna tari. Shekaran nan da na bana da aka yi rigakafi, gaskiya ni na gode ma Allah ba akuya na da ta mutu, duk ga sunan sun haihu lafiyan Allah ba matsala. Kaji ma da aka yi musu rigakafi duk ga sunan suna ƙyanƙyasa. Masha Allahu rabbi mun gode. Kiya kuɗi ƙalila ɗan kaɗan ne muke bayarwa ana mana, tunda inda kuɗi ne mai yawa ba za mu iya bayarwa ba a matsalolin da muke samu akan kaji nan da awaki. Da kowane shekara muna rasa kaji muna ciwon bingiri, amma bana gashi ma ai bingirin mu dai ba mu yi ba. Ni shawaran da zan ba mata ƴan uwana, dan Allah kowa ya kokari akan wannan rigakafi da ake yi. Kowa ya kokari ya rika yin rigakafin nan. Don mu dai mu yi rigakafin nan mun ji daɗi. Ina roƙon ƴan uwan mu mata dan Allah duk wanda take da niyya ta yi ta ma ta ji daɗi akan rigakafin nan.
Through this approach of training and engaging community animal health workers and attaching them to veterinary officers to supervise them, we're able to generate a lot of data about livestock, small ruminant and chicken population in the state. So this area of data collection, there will be basis for government intervention or driving government policy is one other benefit that we have been able to achieve.
Going forward, the state government and Ambuvets Consult will continue to upgrade the capacity of the community animal health workers and other paravets to provide community-level veterinary care under strict supervision by the state.
What government used to do on its own before, now government must be able to collaborate with other partners that can be able to deliver this service with a lean budget. And then you'll be reaching more people down there below the pyramid who are farmers, women with 2 goats. That might be the only investment, savings, assets that they have that can be wiped out by PPR.
Ambuvets relentlessly continues to identify and use this model to sustainably solve the gap problem of veterinary access in the state and across the entire country, using the lessons learned from a very successful implementation in Kaduna State to reach other states, helping them develop sustainable vaccination and animal health care delivery strategy driven by private sector investment.